last time I saw you was actually at your 50th birthday celebration in Jersey with the Metal Allegiance show and all that. And it was super awesome. And it was also a memorable day for me because that was just a few days before Chris Broderick announced that he was leaving Megadeth. And it was interesting because one thing that was cool is that when I was hanging out with you guys, you and him were like so tight, so friendly and all that. So I was hoping that you could tell me. I guess at that point, did you know that he was going, or was it a surprise to you when you heard?
You know, it was kind of shocking when he and Sean left because it both happened at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that they were writing some material and that they wanted to go work on some kind of a record. Megadeth kind of unexpectedly and pretty suddenly was sort of shut down last year. We finished a tour over in Japan at Summer Sonic. And so it was, you know, it was kind of we were in the middle of a management change, which is very disruptive to organizations. You know, it's any corporation, you know, anybody who worked in corporate America and goes through a management change, they get affected.
That's true, yeah.
Same is true in a rock and roll band, especially something big like that where there's a lot of moving parts to it, you know. So, I mean, Sean brought Chris into the group, and so I know that they had like a real connectivity, you know. So, you know, for them, you know, look, they made their decision to move on and go do other things, and I try to remain friends with everybody because it's a very small business, it's a very small industry,
Sure.
and more than the professional purposes. You know, when you live in the yellow submarine of a tour bus and an airplane and hotel rooms for years on end, which we did, you know, you become tight like family. And in a lot of ways, your road family is another family. You know, you kind of leave the road and come home to your family at home. It's this kind of strange changing of the atmospheres that you go through. So, you know, look, Chris is a fantastic guitar player, and their new record is great. You know, the Act of Defiance record. So, you know, I would certainly wish them well, just like all the former members. You know, I somehow stay in touch with everybody. I've kind of been dubbed the diplomat of the band, you know, so.
And you're talking about the connections and relationships and stuff. And I think a lot of people are really curious in Megadeth how Chris Adler and how Kiko fit in. I know that Dave called him the best guitarist that he thinks has been in Megadeth. So I want to know a little bit about maybe the studio relationship you guys have had and what Kiko brings that other guitarists haven't brought.
Well, Kiko is just a fantastic musician, and I mean his ear. I mean, I remember one time Dave and I were working on recording a bass track, and we were moving some notes around, and Kiko just walks in out of nowhere, you know, like 11 o'clock in the morning, and says, "Oh, it's supposed to be a C sharp." Like, well, where did you come from? You know, and he goes, "That note right there is supposed to be a C sharp." You know, so he hears things. He's got a great harmonic, you know, ability. He's a great piano player. His nylon string stuff is phenomenal. In fact, when Dave called me about him coming into the band, that was one of the things that he really liked about him is that, you know, I hate to say the other guitar player, but the second guitar player in Megadeth has always been this guitar player that's very diverse. Really, it brings something different. Chris Poland from the beginning had that sort of fusion thing going on. Same with Jeff Young, Marty Friedman, all the guys over the years.
All very different in their own way.
Very different, and that band needs that dynamic in it. So Kiko really takes that to a whole nother level. I mean, he's an extremely gifted musician, and I had one experience to play with him in South America, ironically, right before the change happened, you know, of the lineup. Mm-hmm. So to be able to call him, because I knew him, I played on a gig with him, and to just know firsthand just what a great player he is, and he's a cool guy. Because great players who aren't cool is not cool. You know, cool guys who can't play, obviously that doesn't work. So it's really the selection was pretty thin. I mean, really there was about 2 or 3 names on the list, you know. So Kiko is, he really brings a whole nother level of musicality into the band.
Yeah, and stylistically it's interesting because he is super thrashy. And then Chris Adler, he's, you know, Lamb of God. They're kind of in a bunch of different places with their genre. So I'd like to know, with the new album, what stylistically did those guys bring?
Well, Chris Adler doesn't need me to sing his praises. I mean, listen to any Lamb of God record,
beast.
man, and he's a beast, man. He's just,
great.
and again, a cool guy, total metalhead, totally gets the history and the legacy of Megadeth, very respectful to us as a band, and as a result, wanted to contribute toward the betterhood of Megadeth, you know, and that's a cool thing to bring that in and to be aware of it and to be conscious of it. And you'll hear when the record comes out or when the tracks start getting pushed out. I will need to say no more. I mean, it's everything you would think it would be of Chris coming in. Now, we did do one show back in July. We did a one-off festival up in Quebec City.
Yeah.
And so that's out there on the web. So if anybody wants to see it, it's out there. But the show felt great. I mean, it felt like there was felt like a band of 4 rock stars on stage.
Nice.
It was a great feeling, and you could tell the audience was just digging it, man. They were eating it up. It was
So the
very
energy
cool.
of that show is kind of representative of what we'll be hearing on the record, you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, that was kind of a set list of older songs. So as the new record comes out, you usually start putting some of those newer tracks into the set list as well. But yeah, it had an awesome, incredible energy to it.
Cool.
So.